Good afternoon. I'm Karen Lee here on the CBS 4 News set, where there's been breaking news in Aurora, where we have learned 6 teenagers have been shot at a park near Aurora Central High School. The shooting happened in Nome Park. We, of course, waiting to hear from Aurora's Police Chief Vanessa Wilson here for the very latest. This is the scene of that area there to give you an idea of where this happened. Both of those, the high school and the park there, 13th and Nome. Aurora Central is on a secure perimeter right now, even though the shooting happened at that park just north of the high school. We know 5 of those teens were taken from the scene to Children's Hospital, where that shooting was reported. Those shooting victims were between the ages of 14 and 17. A 6th teenager, as we just mentioned, ended up taking themselves to the hospital. That park, Nome Park, just north of the high school there. We wanted to take you now to the press conference there with Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson. Let's listen in.
For the city, as well as for this nation, I think we're seeing it's a public health crisis, really, when we think about gun violence anymore. I give you some information. If I don't have the answers for you, I will make sure that we follow up with whatever that we have. What I can tell you, we have a large crime scene here behind us. We have many investigators out here. We have individuals from our gang unit, as well as Denver gangs, has come out as well to assist us. Our major crimes unit will be leading this investigation. What I can tell you right now is I have 5 juveniles and 1 adult that has been shot. When I say adult, it's 18-year-old, so I think to all of us that's still one of our kids. So this is very concerning right now. I have 1 child in emergency surgery. I want to thank the school resource officers that were first on scene, and they applied life-saving measures in form of a tourniquet for the individual that's in surgery now. I've been in contact with Rico Munn, the superintendent of APS school. He wanted me to pass on that they will be sending information out to parents this evening. All 6 of our victims are Central High School students. I want to reiterate, this did not happen on school grounds. It happened here at Nome Park and along the block of 12th, 13th to 11th on Nome Street. We've recovered multiple rounds and different calibers. We do have suspects that are at large, and we are working on information to try to gather information that we can get out to you on who exactly we're looking for. With that, I need the public's help. I need us all to be outraged by what happened here today, and I need your help. And please, you can remain anonymous, but if you know anything, if you have a Ring camera that you would like to provide us, if you hear your kid mention something, anything that you can give us right now is important. The Crime Stoppers number is 720-913-STOP. Also, I want you to know that our program manager for youth violence prevention, Christina Amparan, they are creating right now, they're working with Denver, and they're trying to get a regional response for outreach support for these kids, as well as these families that have been victimized. Once I leave here, I'm going to go to the hospital, hopefully connect with the victims' families. All the victims' parents have been notified, and I want you to ask all of you to keep them in your prayers. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Can you tell us how the victims are doing?
So right now we're hearing that they're non-life-threatening injuries, but obviously anyone that's shot with a weapon, a gunshot, is serious. So we need lots of prayers, and again, I said one child is in surgery.
Is this a drive-by?
My understanding is it was a drive-by shooting, as well as there may have been people on foot.
Was there return fire from the kids that were at the park?
We have no information that occurred. Right now we have that they are victims.
Chief, can you say if the kids were on break or were they between classes?
You are listening right now.
You know, I'm not
Aurora
sure,
Police Chief
but
Vanessa Wilson, she has been updating us on the breaking news of the 6 young people out in Aurora that were shot at Nome Park. 5 of them taken to the hospital. 1 took themselves. The 1 person is an adult, but an 18-year-old. She just shared with us that all 6 of them did go to Aurora Central High School. We have crews covering every angle of this story for you. We will continue to carry this press conference for you right now on CBSN Denver, which is our streaming service. So you can stay with this press conference until it ends in its entirety. We'll, of course, bring you any of the latest on CBS 4 News.
We have some vehicle descriptions. I'm being asked at this point not to release that because we're not 100% sure. People called in what they thought was suspicious, so I'd hate to identify a vehicle that isn't involved.
Can you speak to the violence at Nome Park? Have you seen shootings here before?
You know, I'm not sure of this year if we've had shootings here before at this exact park, but we can get you that information.
As police chief, what is your gut response when you respond to something?
Well, I can tell you when I got the call, my heart dropped. I think as many as most of you felt the exact same way, and I think enough is enough, and I think we need to come together as a community. This is a public health crisis. This is not all on law enforcement. We need to get out through to our kids and figure out a way to stop this.
Is there a violence crisis in Aurora right now?
There's a violence crisis across the nation right now, and so I think we all need to pay attention.
People that live on this block express concerns about what they call regular shootings. Is there anything specific you are doing to address the violence here?
So obviously we'll have heightened patrol in the area, and we are just responding to calls as we possibly can. But the SROs, of course, usually patrol the areas inside the school as well as around the school.
Knowing that this involved students all from the same school, what does that do for your investigation? How does that play into everything?
Well, I'm hoping that there's kids out there that know why this happened, that know what the situation was, and can actually share information with us. I'm sure that somebody out there knows something, and I need them to come forward.
Chief, how do you feel about the first responder response to this incident? How would you summarize that?
I couldn't be more proud of them. They saved a life today, and I want to applaud the men and women that showed up here today.
Were all the victims gathered together? They all lived together?
My understanding is they were at the park together, and some may have been walking back. I'm not 100% sure exactly, but it was all within this area that you see behind you.
Was there one vehicle?
There were multiple vehicles that people described as suspicious. Again, I don't want to point those vehicles out until we have more information. I'm hoping that we have Ring camera so we can put those visuals out to you all, and I ask your help to put those out when we have them, if we get them.
Did the shootings occur from a fair distance, given the level of injury? Was there, what would you estimate the distance?
From the street to the park, so from the middle of the street to the park, and as well as we have information there was a drive-by as well as people that may have been on foot.
Can you expand the problems you're having and gather information from the community? Just generally, it seems like this. What are you facing, and it's okay if you repeat yourself. What do you want to see happen?
Really what I need is for people to come forward. I know everyone nowadays have some sort of camera system. That would be very helpful in us to get some stills out of whether the suspects were wearing or what the vehicles that they were driving is out. Also, I just need you to talk to your kids, and I need you to ask them to please come forward if they have information.
Are you finding resistance to coming forward from people who know things?
All the victims, from my understanding, are being very cooperative as well as their families. And so, again, it's early on in the stages. We're still about 2 hours in, so we're asking for all the help we can get.
Are any other schools on lockdown?
No, ma'am. Central High School was put on lockdown, and right now they should be doing a controlled release for parents, and we have put that information out through tweets for parents to know.
Where did they go? Where did they get taken hospital-wise?
So local hospitals that are close in proximity here, we have, again, 6 victims. 1 self-transported, the rest were transported by ambulance.
Sorry, just to be clear, some of the shooters were in a car, but some might have been on foot.
That's my understanding. So, again, it's very preliminary, but any information you have, no matter how small, we need it, please.
We heard that Anschutz was locked down. Was that because of this incident?
I'm not sure if that occurred, but we can get you that information. I don't believe Anschutz was on lockdown.
Is this a neighborhood or area prone to gang activity and gang violence?
So I think that this area is a good place for people to live, and we have a lot of hard-working men and women that live here. And obviously, the gang problem can go throughout any neighborhood. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure this is gang related, so I hate to jump to that conclusion.
You have 2 more questions?
What's a safe way to classify?
Any connection to other recent crimes, Chief?
I'm sorry, sir?
Any suspicion of any connections to any other recent crimes?
I have been not told of any connections at this point, but again, we have several detectives out, and we'll be talking to our metro partners to see if there's anything like this.
If this stems from an incident at school, are you considering this or classifying it as a school shooting, or how does that play?
No, sir. Since it didn't happen on school grounds, thank God, that would have been, more victims that could possibly have been injured. So I'm thankful for that. And again, I'm working closely with Rico Munn, the superintendent of APS, and we will make sure that the kids that come to school tomorrow feel safe. We'll have more officers here, as well as counselors for them.
One more on
Type
this.
of weapon? Any information on type of weapon?
Several different calibers is what I was told, so I don't have any further specifics.
How can we safely classify the amount? Dozens of shots were fired here, or 10?
I would say there were multiple shots fired.
Apologies if you answered this already, but the suspects were high school students as well, or you don't know that?
We do not know, sir. And once, like I said, if I can get people to send me Ring camera footage We're getting descriptions. We're going door to door to try and get people to describe what they thought was suspicious, and we'll get that information out to you. I appreciate you being here today. You're our partners in this, and we thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Like you said, we're going to try to generate a news.
You have been listening right there to Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson as she was bringing us up to date on a shooting that just happened out in Aurora and involved 6 teenagers, ages 14 to 18. I know the 18-year-old is considered an adult, but all 6 of those teens did go to Central High School there in Aurora. Copter 4 now flying over that scene for you. She just brought us some new information. We have been told by her that it was a drive-by shooting. They're still looking for those suspects. They're asking, she is pleading for people that live in that area to share their Ring cameras, any videos, any information, any still pictures they may have of the possible suspects in that area. They need all the help they can get as they put the pieces of this together. We know 5 children, 5 teenagers were taken to the hospital. One, that 18-year-old drove themselves to the hospital. A very active scene out there right now. Again, this did not happen at the high school. This happened at Nome Park, which is close to the school right there. We have our Connor McHugh has been out there talking with parents, and at that high school there as anxious parents were waiting for the dismissal. And are they still waiting out there, Connor, or has the dismissal begun?
Well, Karen, there are still plenty of parents waiting out here, but the dismissal appears to be beginning. Parents tell us that they've been told to line up to be here waiting for their children, and you can see there are a lot of buses here where they are preparing for those children to be coming out. We're told that they will be coming out in small groups, and many of the parents here have already been in touch with their kids thanks to phones, texting them, have had a chance to talk to them. They know they're safe, but that doesn't make it any harder to be waiting here, not seeing their face. So many of these parents have been lined up here for 30 minutes to an hour, just waiting for this moment of seeing their kids walk out of the school again. You can see, again, lots of buses lining up here, the traffic picking up a lot. This is a good moment for many of these parents after the scary incident earlier.
Yeah, Connor, certainly so. You always want to make sure that you can get in touch with your young person. And as you were probably listening to the chief there a few seconds ago, she said that she wants everyone to, of course, keep these families close to heart as they continue to move forward through this. Everybody is cooperating, trying to garner more information. I know that you did have a chance to talk to some of the parents out there. We listened to one earlier, Connor, that shared with us that there's been some trouble out there in that area and that she's been very concerned for her student.
Yeah, it was a mother of a ninth grade boy here, and she said that she has been concerned throughout the year because of some of the violence around the city and around the immediate area of the high school. She said it's one of her biggest concerns, and it's something that she really wants to see addressed moving forward. It's getting resources to children. It's taking ownership of the problem, and she was just very emotional about this earlier today, knowing that this was just another incident happening near the school. This time, none of her children are involved, children that she knows, as far as she knows right now, not involved. But again, jarring, she says, for the parents of 6 children. We'll let you hear her in her own words.
It's been problem after problem after problem after problem, and it's actually at this school. I don't know what's going on with this school. I know they're trying to do the best that they can to protect these children, and I also know that because of the situation with the police not being in the schools anymore, I think that's what's going on. But I just feel if we keep these kids positive, then we probably wouldn't have so much violence going on.
Yeah, again, just hard for many parents around here. We can tell you that some of the kids are able to leave right now. It's hard to see with how busy it is right here with how much traffic, but that's a good sign of how many parents are coming through here, how many kids are able to see their families and get home safe. But just past this bus here, you can see some children coming out, parents holding on to them tight. A great moment for those parents after a scary few hours.
Okay, Connor McHugh live out at Aurora Central High School for us right now. Thank you so much for your report out there. And of course, we care about all of these school kids. They're all of our kids, right? We are going to Copter 4 now, some video to show you here of that scene there down there near Nome Park. Again, the shooting did not happen at Aurora Central. It happened at Nome Park. 6 young people were shot, ages 14 to 18. And again, Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson asking for help from the public, from the people that live in that area. Ring camera video, she needs it. So make sure that you call them and give them that video. Again, this is the scene of that area there for you. You can see how close it is to the high school and that the chiefs did share with us that all of these young people did go. They were students there at the high school. She is now working with the high school principal there to make sure that they protect all the students and they make sure that they are safe and ready for school tomorrow, that there will be an enlarged police presence, of course, there at that school tomorrow. This is the number here to call. Crime Stoppers here. Share this number with all your friends and family in that area. If you have any information, it is kept secret. Call this number here, share what you know so that we can make sure this does not happen to any more of our school kids. Again, thank you so much for being with CBSN Denver. Stay with CBSN Denver for continuing coverage of this shooting that happened out in Aurora. And anytime we have breaking news, you can always count on our streaming service, CBSN Denver, CBSDenver.com, of course, and CBS4 as well. We will have live updates for you on 5, 6, and 10 at CBS4 as well. Thanks.